Well, hey everybody, I'm Jack. This is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope you're all doing well out there. I'm running this way, I'm going that way. I'm popping out to Walmart for something I need. I'm going over here. I've been tie-dyeing today, working, and just, yeah, pretty much, I've had a really productive week. I've started early every day and worked until pretty late. Or not late. I mean, I'll still make my walks down to the park, but anyhow, today is 7 years on a raw food diet, 7 years sober. Guys, I do videos every day, so if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please go down and hit that subscribe button now. Then be sure you click on the little bell and check send notifications to stay subscribed to your channel. You might want to do that even if you are subscribed to other people's channels. Man, YouTube's terrible about this stuff. It's just constantly happening. So, now today is not like an anniversary or anything. I'm not like one of those people that like, I know the exact day, the amount of time, and the number of hours that I have been this, but it's been approximately 7 years. It was about the second or the third week of June 2012. I was living in San Jose, Costa Rica, and it's been an interesting ride. It's been a kind of I wouldn't say it's been a bumpy ride. My ride hadn't been bumpy at all. I always feel bad about people that have difficulties with this thing. Never put pressure on myself, and coming into this lifestyle down in the tropics, I just kind of took to it. I've been very high raw from the beginning. Now, if anybody happens to be watching or hasn't watched long enough to figure it out yet, I say it in probably at least every other video. I'm not 100% raw. I'm not fully raw. I'm not trying to be. I've never wanted to be. In fact, I'm so anti 100% raw is law that even during periods where I can do fully raw and I'm getting all the produce down there, I'll eat one potato a month just so I don't have that condescending little, I'm fully raw and I've been fully raw for 1,543 days. I don't roll like that. But I went high raw right away. And I would say over the course of 7 years, if you kind of averaged it all out, I was probably about 95% raw across the board that whole time. So, like I say, it's been a journey. It's been up and down, not up and down as far as like struggling with it, but up and down learning different things. I had always been a bigger guy. I kind of got seduced by it. In the beginning, I was, and I wasn't restricting what I ate, but my weight was dropping off me like crazy. I wasn't really paying attention. I don't know. I didn't have a scale at the time. I don't know why I wasn't putting two and two together that my pants were just almost falling off of me. But I got insanely skinny to begin with on this lifestyle. And I kind of got seduced by that just a little bit because when you've been a bigger guy, always, in the gym, whatever, it was kind of cool to be like, wearing 30 pants or whatever. But after a while, and this is actually, the evolution has just been within the last couple or 3 years. I just kind of got tired of having that emaciated look. I'm being way too skinny like so many of the raw food people are. And that's just my opinion, and that's just for me. I know it's kind of a line. Because a lot of people will tell me, they'll look at a video and they'll be like, man, you're malnourished, you're this and that. Oh man, you don't have any, I used to have some muscles. I haven't been to the gym since last August. I haven't had any health issues since I've been on this lifestyle, except this thing that's kept me out of the gym and exercising this last year. And people always ask, you can go Google it yourself, costochondral junction syndrome. It's just a tricky little thing in there, and I don't need any voodoo fixes for it. Everybody, that's another thing that's always been a little pet peeve. Everybody comes out of the woodwork anytime you say you have any issue whatsoever, and they got some little, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? It is what it is. But, so like I say, and I've been through a lot of different ways of doing this lifestyle. Recently, I would say over the last 2 years, I've started kind of honing in on being a little bit more healthy and getting more things into my lifestyle. I could be silly, but that's who I am, just a big goofy kid. When I was living on the mountain in Costa Rica and when I was in Jaco, like I was just pounding. I was eating mostly fruit. I still got my greens, but I was just pounding fruit all the time. I drank half a gallon of orange juice a day. now I've kind of brought that into balance a little bit more. If you guys watched my videos, especially over the last 6 months or a year, I've been filling in the gaps. I try to make sure I've really tried to up my greens, get as many greens as possible. I do supplement. I take a B12 supplement. DHA, a vegan omega-3 DHA. Since I've been in the States and don't get sun as much as in Costa Rica, I sup vitamin D. Other things, just little things like, I'm just always trying to make sure I use more seeds now. I use more hemp seeds. I use more chia seeds for the omega-3s too. I use stuff like natural things to get elements, not so much for the food, like my pumpkin seeds for zinc, a little bit of iron. I try to, include dulse flakes, kind of that comes in the salt shaker for iodine. And anyhow, I know I don't do it perfect, but I'm just trying to plug in those holes. So 7 years on a raw food diet. 7 years sober too. Now I should mention, when I say 7 years sober, it's more or less been about 7.5 years sober, because the drinking stopped in kind of two phases. About 6 months before I quit completely, I stopped drinking. I'd come off a bad bender. I stopped drinking. Didn't drink for about 3 months. I was kind of on my health journey. I wasn't doing raw, wasn't doing vegan. I was just naturally, didn't think about it at the time, thought about it later, reducing my animal products. And I was just searching for things like antioxidants, like what possible, the damage that alcohol causes to the body, and trying to think of things I could take to just boost my immune system, to give just to basically make my body as healthy as possible and try to defend against disease after treating it so bad for so long. So the only reason I said it's kind of 7.5 is after I quit, I had gotten on this kick after about 3 months of not having a drink. I got on this kick of, I'm okay, I can have one glass, it's healthy for the heart or whatever. I'm going to have one glass of red wine a day. And I was having a square of chocolate at the time too, so dark chocolate. So I said, all right. But I was good about that. So for the next 3 months or so, I did that. Every single night, I had one glass of red wine and I drank it kind of slow. I think there was one time in that period where I went from the city back to Jaco, where I had lived before that and where I moved to a bit later. And I went to a little bar and was sitting talking with a friend one night. He was bartending, and I may have had 3 glasses of wine that night, but that was it. Then comes June, bam, no more. And people ask me all the time. I can't really offer advice to people that are struggling to quit. For me, it was just time to quit. And that's why I make the differentiation of saying that I was a drunk and not an alcoholic, because I didn't use any 12 steps. I didn't use any programs. I didn't go to rehab. It was just enough for me. And once I had quit, or actually once I quit, mostly quit back before after a bender, I didn't have cravings for the alcohol. Once I decided to quit, and that's it, I had done quit, I didn't have cravings. I wasn't like worrying about it. In fact, I was writing sports at the time there in San Jose, and there was a little sports bar right around the corner from where I lived, and that's where I went and, watched stuff and got my stuff. Even right after stopping drinking, I went to the bar almost every day. Back in the day, I was drinking Diet Coke or a club soda or something, but I went to the bar almost every day, and there was no problem about that. No pull, no nothing. So please differentiate that. I can't help you if you're struggling. People reach out, and I feel bad, but don't feel like you're less than or weak to get help. And people struggling on stuff, go get help. Ask for help. But that, like I say, so far, I have not had any health issues other than this, which everything I've read, it's just a weird little tricky condition. I'm not even sure, knock on wood, I hate saying this because I'll probably get one tomorrow, summer cold. I don't even know that I've had a cold. But my views too, also, I don't get into the woo-woo stuff. I don't think that makes me bulletproof. I sometimes talk to these raw vegans, and I feel sometimes like an adult talking to a child when they get woo-woo and off, like, oh, well, I couldn't get this, and I don't care about this, and I'm not worried. I'm like, it ain't gonna make you bulletproof. There's things that still could happen, and I'm very aware of that. So I've tried to take mostly a practical, common sense view of this lifestyle. And it's funny because of the way I look. I think somebody did that recently. Every once in a while, either a vegan that's not raw or somebody that's not vegan will capture like a still to use in a thumbnail, or they'll be talking about those crazy raw vegans, and they use me as the poster boy. And I'm sorry, in most things in life, I would say I'm not the rational one, but what I would have to say in this damn raw food world, I'm pretty rational. I'm pretty logical with this. In fact, I think a lot of times when people say that, do things like that, they haven't really checked me out. They're just kind of looking at the packaging there, because that's a one, you know, I'm not fully raw. I don't adhere to that thing. I eat a wide variety of stuff. I eat quinoa at times. I eat sweet potatoes at times. I even eat purple whole peas at times. So I've got a lot of, and I don't restrict. I try to eat as much as possible. In fact, it's tough to eat as much as I need to eat some days. So yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not, and I'm 55 too. Like I say, when somebody says, "Well, you're malnourished, you're so skinny and stuff," I'm like, dude, I'm 55 years old. Plus, I haven't been in the gym since last year. Now, I'm not saying I shrunk down from being Mr. Universe. I'm not saying last summer I was all swole up with 22-inch guns, but yeah, I mean, I've looked at some photos. I was definitely, you know, because I was going to the gym. And you'll see if I get back in there. You'll see just I get a little bit more toned. That's not, at 55, that's not my concern anymore, you know. And then every once in a while, I remember one time on Instagram, like some guy was trying to be like, kind of, I guess he was trying to goad me, you know, like hurt my manhood or whatever. And I'm like, dude, I'm a 55-year-old G. Even if I was going to the gym and weighed about 200 pounds, I don't roll around on the ground with nobody. It ain't gonna never come down to that physical mano a mano. I'm the kind of guy that would hire a little bit of muscle and sit back and drink a smoothie while they worked you over. So I'm still a little crazy. You don't drink for 30 years. You don't act like a maniac for so long in your life and then totally go, you know, totally zen. So that's why I am like I am on this channel. I know it irks people and tweaks them the wrong way sometime, and then there's certain types that say, why didn't he just go all the way? Because I'm real. I got different aspects to my personality, and I don't want to be one of the wide-eyed, raw people that just regurgitates everything about, you know, the basics of this lifestyle as a few of their gurus have passed it on. I'll finish up with this. I don't have a guru. I don't recommend gurus. Don't follow me. Take what you can get from me, but be your own health advocate. Whether you're raw, whether you're eating cooked vegan, whatever, be your own health advocate and get all the voices out of your head. Do what's right for you. Don't worry if you're on social media or if you put out content, don't worry what people say about the content you put out. If you are just in groups in Facebook or in forums or whatever, don't listen to all these people that tell you a bunch of BS, because a lot of them, they all spin out. I'll really finish with this one. Do you want to know how many have tapped out in the time that I've been doing this lifestyle? And some of them were the biggest talkers in the world. About 4 weeks ago when I had that little trip to Pensacola, the lady I met that weekend there, we met in a group 6 years ago that was started by somebody, and I met a number of people in that group at the same time. Might have even met Melissa in there, even though me and Melissa had connected, you know, organically through just each other's channels, or she had watched me. But this group, leader couldn't hack it. Everybody migrated and I think somebody else formed another group. Then there was a big core there for a while, and some of these groups I've been in, hardcore fire and brimstone preachers. You know, they're like nose down, you can't do this, you can't do that, blah, blah, blah. They spin out. They go so narrow. They go so, trying to be perfect. And I don't eat this, and I don't eat that, and I only eat this. They spin out. Another group. Boom. After about four years or so, I just started saying these groups are useless. This is a bunch of people just blah, 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 blah. Show me action. Don't show me words. But anyhow, I'm going to continue doing this thing the way that I'm doing it. And that will only change when I decide, okay, I've found something new, or I think I need to change this. So anyhow, to wrap it all up, for sure this time, it's been the best 7 years of my life. You know, I look back and it's freaking surreal to think of that guy before, but this has most definitely been the happiest 7 years of my life, the best 7 years of my life, and the healthiest 7 years of my life. So anyhow, hope you guys all enjoyed this one. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.